everybody, it's Brooke. I hope you're having a great day. I'm here to share weeks 10 and 11 in my Garden for All Seasons book. So I did remember to mark where we left off last time, so that will make it a lot less awkward for me, but definitely for you. Anyway, so here we are, March 7th, and this page is actually the back of one of the original book pages. See if I can get it in frame. I've got it kind of zoomed in so you can see better, but it was kind of a flowery background, which I liked. Just dreaming of spring, because yes, this is what our March 7th looked like. We got, I don't even know how many inches of snow, 14 or something. It was ridiculous. So that picture I just turned into a pocket, and I have our winter storm warning that I printed out, and did some journaling on the other side, talking about the fact that our French exchange student was coming in that night on the train from Boston, and we were concerned that they weren't going to make it because Amtrak does occasionally shut down in the snow. I also tucked in a grocery list that Victoria made for me for what we were supposed to eat while Leontine was here. And Mark had cleaned out, done like a deep clean in my Jeep because it was disgusting, and found some funny things, one of which was Hannah Montana 3D glasses from when the girls used to watch the Hannah Montana DVD endlessly. And the other thing was an old Mad Lib. These things crack me up, and they've always been a go-to in the car. I guess not so much anymore now that the girls are older, but when they were younger, that was something that we always had plenty of, and they just make me laugh all the time, easily amused. So anyway, then I went ahead, and the only reason I'm doing this is to make it a little less sensory overload, because my pages are sort of crazy anyway. I went ahead and tipped in the exchange plan for the exchange plan for the week, well, the almost 2 weeks that we were going to have our student. So that was taped in there. And this was March 8th, the very first day that Leontine was here. We had a snow day, way to get to learn about American school. So this was a thing that I had cut out from Daphne's diary, and another piece from a different one, and just sort of did another collage-y crazy madness because that's what I like. But talked about what we did that day, and there's a picture of Victoria and Leontine because I had stitched on this pocket protector or page protector on the edge. So that was just sort of what we did that day. It was a lot of fun despite the heavy amount of snow that we had. This is March 9th. This was funny on Facebook. I got a lot of responses about the Marmite versus Vegemite wars. Oh, that's a bad glare. How about that? We had all the kids over that night for dinner, and Olivia's boyfriend, Bailey, is Australian, and Leontine, even though she lives in France, is actually British. So we had the wars about which was better, Marmite or Vegemite, and they were hysterical. And you can see the size difference between the two of them. That made me laugh. But we had tacos that night, and the kids all played Cards Against Humanity, and it was just a really fun time having them all here. And there's also a little bit of journaling underneath there. So that was the 9th. And on the 10th, Victoria had to go to New Hampshire for Color Guard, and so I got to spend the day. Mark and I spent the day with Leontine, and we just had a great time. She was so laid back, so easygoing. What a great kid. Leontine, if you're watching, we miss you. We love you. So here's a picture of her in our brown, ugly recliner that feels like heaven. And this blanket is what we call the unicorn blanket. So she had to have that experience in the chair. And then we went out and did a bunch of things that were on her list of things she wanted to do, one of which was go eat at Chipotle. So I made this little packet, did some journaling on either side, and then on the back side, just I had stitched up the paper. This was deli paper that they gave me at Chipotle, and then just put on some of the pictures and some of the things that we did that were on Leontine's list. And it was a funny list. She's a funny kid. But by George, we got quite a lot of them done. So that was a great day, but we missed Victoria. Then the next day was Sunday, and Victoria had another color guard thing going on, but Leontine was going to go with her. The background of this, the bound-in paper, is just graph paper, and I had stitched on this canvas strip, which I really like. And I did another one of my weird collages and just did some talking about the day. And hung out for most of the day. It was a quiet day, waiting for the kids to get back. Then this is where it starts turning off bad. I don't know what to say. This is just a sheet of note paper where I had taken notes about the days. This was the next page in the book, which was a coloring page from a giant kids coloring book that I got at a yard sale or something. The most terrifying bunnies in the world. And I actually made a note saying this was supposed to be the 12th. But we were so busy, and I was getting so frustrated with this book that being so fat that I sort of skipped a few days. So that was the 13th. Yep, you can see how the 13th was. Yep, here was the 14th. There was a receipt in the pocket. Oh, you can't see that because I'm out of frame. That was the 14th. The 15th, I actually did pin down a note and got my date circle there and got a picture of Leontine. I took the kids to Marden's, which is this funny store in Maine that it's like a step up from Goodwill. It's a weird store, but she had been dying to go there, so that's a picture. Yep, the 16th, didn't get too much further. The page itself was coffee dyed graph paper. So I do have a note. I got the date circle. I had Leontine write down her list of things she wanted to do so that could come in the book. And this little quote was from Daphne's diary, and that was part of the original page. But that was as far as I got on the 16th. Oh, the 17th I woke up and I did actually get a little bit done. I think I'd gotten behind and then got busy and got discouraged. But the 17th was the day that the kids, the French foreign exchange students, and I think the German exchange students and the Americans were going to go do a million things. And it was St. Patrick's Day, so I put in one of my vintage greeting cards, which are still available in the Etsy shop, all different kinds, if you're interested. But I did some photos on that tip-in of things we did that evening. And then they had gone tubing, which is the most terrifying thing in the world to me, but they thought it was great. So I did a little painting of the place where they were tubing. And then we, again, that evening, got some more things off Bob's checklist. Oh, and that was her nickname. All of the exchange students at our high school have English names or American names, and we decided that Leontine needed an American name, and so we gave her the name of Bob. That's her American name. So the 18th, the page that I had in the book was this vintage handkerchief that was stitched in. I got a stack of them for someone named Celia. I don't know if you can see it, but they're just beautiful. And I had stitched this right into the signature. So I what am I, 100? I had glued in this picture of all of us from Sunday evening. We had a farewell banquet and at the high school because the students were leaving the next day. So we got this picture taken, and I just love it. I just think that's a great picture. And then on the back there was a pocket, so I did some journaling about the day and about the potluck that night, and tucked in a few more pictures on the back, just so I would still have those. The next day was the 19th. It was the day that Bob left, and it made me extremely sad because she really had become part of the family. So I journaled a little bit about that. But this page, bound into the book, was a strip of ledger paper and then a childcraft book page and this bit of paper from Daphne's diary. I love that pencil, and a little bit of fabric sort of covering up a ripped area. So I did some painting in here and then just journaled over it, put in a picture of our local Dairy Queen because When the sign says they're opening soon, that means that spring's coming. So that was a good sign, despite the fact that, yeah, we were, looking at 10 degrees and 33 degrees for the high. Yep, love Maine. Can't go wrong. And this is the 20th. Getting hard to see it because, let me say it again. Can I say it again? The book is really fat. But I just did a crazy collage on this page. Not much going on, so I collaged and painted and used some napkins and just did a little journal bit right in the middle. This was on the back of the Childcraft page. So that was the 20th. And then the 21st, the page that was in the book for me to use was this Artist's Loft packaging. I apparently had bought a palette with storage cups, but I just bound it in and made it into a pocket. And I tucked this tag into it talking about the day. There's some fuzzy parts. There's my date circle. And unfortunately, Mark's son had a terrible skiing accident that day. And yes, that was the x-ray of his leg. Poor baby. After several surgeries and pins and screws and I don't even know what, he is at home resting, but it's going to be a while before he gets that cast off. So that was kind of terrifying. He lives in Seattle, so it's hard for Mark to be that far away from him. But at any rate, that sort of winds up those 2 weeks. And I really appreciate you being here, as always. The nice old man will put all of the stocking areas downstairs in the description. Wait, downstairs? That's not right. Down below. That's what I meant. If you like the video, please do give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Check us out on Recreations by Brooke on Facebook. We always have freebies. And if you feel like doing some shopping, we're on Etsy as well. So thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.